What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about OnyxCoin today, XCN USD. It is the first day of July, and here we are sitting right now, actually. Let's see, I don't even have the price pulled up at what, like 0039, something like that. 00388, yeah, right around there. Hit that like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here. We're going to read about the update that came out today. I love the the dev team for Onyx. I don't know if they're intentionally funny, but I think how they did this was actually kind of funny. You guys remember the Goliath update, right? It got delayed. It actually got delayed for like a year. And then whenever we finally had that update earlier this year, it got delayed. Like they said it was going to be on the 27th, and then it was on the 29th or something like that. I forget the exact day, but then the day that they did it, it was all the way at the very like last hour of the day, California time, like as late as it possibly could be on that day. And then this post was put out 11 hours ago. 11 hours ago, which 7:52 June 30th. So that would have actually been within the first 2 hours at the earliest point. Like in California is the latest point of the day in the world. This would have been at the earliest point of the day possible within the first 2 hours. These guys are hilarious, right? Last time we were super late. This time we're going to be super early with the announcement. They wanted on the first. We're going to give it to them on the first. It was actually, for me, on the 30th, but I digress. Anyways, I thought that was funny. I don't know if that was intentional or if it was just a coincidence, but it's just that I thought that was funny. Anyways, that has nothing to do with anything. Onyx Mesh, guys, which I know that there's a lot of wordplay, maybe not wordplay. It might be boring to read, let's say, but it's pretty cool. It's actually pretty cool. All right, this is actually really, really cool. I think it's worth reading. I'm going to read it to you, and then I'll give you my thoughts as to what it means, okay? And I've actually thought, I just don't have the know-how to create this, but I've thought, like, this is what we need in crypto. This is what the world needs if it's going to advance using blockchain technology. And this is what blockchain technology is, I think, destined for as far as implementation goes in a decentralized financial space. Okay, you need something like Onyx Mesh to tap into, where all these entities can tap into it and use it and coordinate together. Anyways, let's just read, okay? The Onyx ecosystem has reached another major milestone. Following the successful launch and rapid adoption of the Onyx Layer 1 network, Goliath, we're excited to announce that Onyx Mesh is now live. Developed in collaboration with Chain, Onyx Mesh is a decentralized banking network that enables banks and financial institutions to operate permissioned infrastructure while leveraging the trust, security, and decentralized consensus of Onyx Layer 1. Okay, so banks, financial institutions can all get on the Layer 1, the Goliath ecosystem, and using that ecosystem to do whatever, right? Leveraging trust, security, decentralized consensus of Onyx Layer 1, and in a sense they're all on this platform and they're able to communicate with each other, right? Purpose built for banks, payment networks, financial institutions, and regulated markets, Onyx provides the foundation for the next generation of interoperable financial infrastructure. I also think trading is a big deal, and they actually do talk about trading as well, like for exchanges. This is a big deal too, because if this is what I think it is, it really could be used for market making as well. And we know since the what was it, the group, the company that got housed back on December 10th, something went wrong with their market making API. I forget what the company was called. But since that day, I'm assuming, right, where billions of dollars, $20 billion got liquidated overnight, where people literally got like high net worth individuals got screwed out of money. I'm assuming that the market is looking for somebody else to pick up the ball, and OnyxCoin is literally building the railroad for that. And I'm sure other networks are as well. But anyways, a decentralized banking network. Onyx Mesh enables banks and financial institutions to maintain complete control over their own infrastructure while relying on decentralized consensus. So banks can do their own thing, but they're tapped into this consensus and communicating with other banks, other institutions in the network, and kind of autonomously, but also to a point where they can check in on it manually themselves if they want to, without requiring sensitive business logic or customer data to be shared on chain. Probably they're just talking about volume transactions, stuff like that, not names and stuff like that. You know, not social security numbers or anything like that. It's probably just financial data. Participating institutions benefit from trusted transaction and event ordering. Okay, so they go over here. Cryptographic timestamping, right? Transactions being sent, timestamping, decentralized verification, shared verifiable event sequencing across participating institutions. Event sequencing. I still don't necessarily know if I know what that could be. I think it's not as. I wonder how broad that is. Anyways, this architecture combines the transparency and security of public blockchain infrastructure with the privacy, governance, and regulatory controls required by modern financial institutions. Blockchain infrastructure with the privacy, right? OnyxCoin is facilitating privacy, which is a big deal for institutions, governance, and regulatory controls required by modern financial institutions. Applications submit messages to Onyx Mesh thread. Applications submit messages, to an Onyx Mesh thread, there we go, where the Onyx network validates timestamps and orders events through decentralized consensus. Those ordered events are then distributed across participating institutions, allowing each institution to execute its own business logic while maintaining independent governance, infrastructure, and local state. And whenever it says events, I'm thinking they're talking about like selling, buying events, mergers, stuff like that. I don't think they're talking about like 4th of July parade, right? Whenever you hear event, that's not what it means, right? And then like, oh, we're gonna have a business meeting, and that's an event. No, I mean like what this is saying is talking about like significant acquisitions, trades, transactions, stuff like that, and the whole system is able to communicate efficiently with that. The result is a trusted coordination layer that enables banks to securely exchange information, coordinate activity, and settle transactions without sacrificing privacy or operational control. Yeah. So in a sense, they're all doing business on the network, but they all have control of their own businesses, but they're all able to effectively and efficiently interact with each other and coordinate appropriately. Like imagine you have an exchange like Binance, and they're selling Bitcoin for $100 more than an exchange like Coinbase is, and that's exactly what's happening now. But imagine they have different liquidity providers. What you got to do if you want to make money on that arbitrage is you have to buy them on Coinbase for cheaper, send them over to Binance, sell them on Binance for more expensive, right? And then you have to pay the fees in between, and you're making pennies to the dollar on that arbitrage. What if the system was all connected? What if the system was all connected? First off, you wouldn't have as much arbitrage at all. But also the system in itself would work more effectively. We would have a general consensus that agrees. And this is just for exchanges specifically. None of this is talking about exchanges, but just something like that where it's not separate. It's all together. Onyx Mesh, and that's why they call it a mesh, right? Onyx Mesh has been designed specifically for regulated financial infrastructure where compliance, privacy, resilience, and interoperability are essential. Potential applications include tokenized assets and securities, digital cash and payment networks, central bank digital currency CBDC infrastructure, interbank settlement, trade finance, identity and compliance systems, cross-institution document verification, multi-bank coordination networks. This is a way for centralized entities to tap into a decentralized network, and then that decentralized network is like a central hub for everything that's going on, just for all the things. Instead of them having their own, and they will still have their own little networks, but they can tap into the network, and all their networks communicate and become one network, a centralized network in a decentralized platform. It's huge. It's actually phenomenal. It's crazy. If you know, and I don't know, I'm not an institution, I'm not a huge central banker or any type of bank. I don't know how seamless this is, and they're saying that they're rolling this out. I don't know how operational it is. Whenever they rolled out Goliath, it wasn't without its flaws, right? But it's still pretty cool. By separating, I'm actually kind of curious. Let's see. You get the point, though, right? You get the point of what it is. No, no enterprise. That's what I'm like. Is it enterprise? I mean, it's institutions and stuff. See, there's more stuff coming on soon. Not yet, but soon. Soon. It's been soon for a year, but not yet. Um, and just remember, guys, they've done so much stuff, right? They've updated the interface with their app. They've brought on Goliath. They're making updates with their AI agent all the time, working on their points and stuff like that. I think we've got multiple bridges now. There's this infrastructure for this to be set up for these things is here. It's coming, and they're developing more and more all the time. It's a new era for OnyxCoin. Institutional enrollment now open. Financial institutions interested in participating in Onyx Mesh can now begin the onboarding process. Eligible institutions can enroll directly through the chain app after successfully completing Know Your Business, KYB, verification requirements. Sounds pretty legit to me, man. KYB helps ensure participating institutions meet the identifying and compliance standards required for permissioned financial infrastructure while preserving the integrity and trust of the broader Onyx ecosystem. That's awesome. That's awesome, right? We got to do KYC, know your customer. You got to do KYB if you're going to be institutional, right? From Goliath to Onyx is part of the evolution. Layer 1 network previously known as Goliath is now being renamed Onyx. Okay, so no more Goliath. It's just Onyx. I think that's smart. I thought it was kind of silly. It's confusing, right? You don't want to confuse people. It's, oh, you're using OnyxCoin, which is called XCN, but if you're using the network, it's not the Onyx network. But the Onyx team are the ones developing the network. What's the network called? It's called Goliath. Okay, so we're using Onyx on the Goliath network. No, no, no. Onyx is the Goliath network. You know, it's none of this. And yes, you are using it on Goliath. None of the confusion. Yeah, it's just Onyx. I think that's clean. I think that makes sense. Good on them. Yeah, that's smart. I think that's smart. They're at least thinking, right? Bringing the blockchain under the same unified identity as the broader ecosystem. Good. Good. Since launch, Goliath has demonstrated the strength of sovereign layer 1 designed for enterprise-grade infrastructure and has continued to see growing adoption. As the ecosystem expanded, it became increasingly clear that a unified brand would be better represented. Yeah. Okay, so we don't need to read that. Yeah, we know. Next chapter for Onyx. The launch of Onyx Mesh represents the next evolution of the Onyx ecosystem, extending the capabilities of the network beyond a layer 1 blockchain into a complete banking and financial infrastructure platform. Beautiful. And probably, I mean, even like a if I'm assuming this correctly, right? If I'm reading this, if I'm understanding it correctly, maybe even like a market making platform, right? For exchanges. Why not? Why not? That's all I'm saying. There's a need for something that is reliable in that sense. I mean, clearly with Wintermute, that's what it was. Wintermute. Uh, there's an opening, a job opening for something like that. And I mean, if this is the real deal and they can do it seamlessly, there's an opening for that in the space. And I mean, there's probably people who are filling that now, but there'll always be need for that. And the more seamless, the more efficient the layer is, the platform is for something like that, the more attractive it becomes, and the more attractive the ecosystem becomes. And OnyxCoin is definitely an attractive ecosystem. Anyways, with growing adoption of Onyx Layer 1, continued ecosystem expansion, and the launch of Onyx Mesh, the platform is positioned to support a new generation of financial infrastructure where decentralized trust and institutional control work together. This is just the beginning. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. To me, it's, like for right now, it's a whole lot of nothing. It doesn't mean anything until it sees use. It doesn't mean anything if it doesn't work, right? And I'm not somebody that can test it out and see how it works, right? I'm not an institution. My business that I own is very small. I wouldn't use Onyx anyways for what I'm doing, so it doesn't make sense for me. But if there are institutional players, the thing is too, we wouldn't hear about it likely, right? If an institution's using them, they might have an NDA, something where it's kept hush hush until they're ready to go public. But like there could be institutions, there could be large financial businesses, institutions, banks who are interested in this right now. We would never know it, right? And just because they're interested in it doesn't mean that they're buying OnyxCoin. And so at some point, maybe they would have to. Maybe to use the system, they would need some OnyxCoin. But we might not see those results immediately. Is all I'm trying to say from a price perspective. We might see that later. Not exciting for the price now, but it will be if it's implemented correctly. I think it will be. But anyways, Correct me in the comments if I've said anything that was wrong, or maybe I'm confused on something. Correct me in the comments, or inform us in the comments if I left anything out that was pretty big. I know that there's all types of people that watch these things, and there's people who are much smarter than me who watch these things. So, give me your thoughts. If you have ideas, they're not things that I've missed, but just dots that you've connected that I've yet to connect. Go ahead and share it. You know, uh, there's a lot of good people in this space who analyze OnyxCoin, who talk about it. Shout out to Shook Focus. I really like Shook Focus. I think he's a smart individual. I think he knows what he's talking about for the most part. Right? That doesn't mean that everything he says is a 100% guaranteed fact, but he's I think an entity of goodwill and good intentions, and definitely a smart man. Shout out to Shook Focus. Uh, Shout out to Rob Mass with Crypto Future. Shout out to Money Tings on X.com, and Overkill Trading as well, and Rue Black. What would it be? Black? Is it Ruel? Yeah, Ruel Black. Yep. Shout out to all of you guys who are keeping up. Oh, and shout out to Andy Cap as well. People who are keeping up with OnyxCoin. Andy Cap. Shout out to all of you guys, because I know that we're all just trying to monitor this thing, keep an eye on it, give our thoughts. And I don't know what I'm doing right now. I guess I'm just buttering the bread. Let's do some TA. Let's do some TA. Here we are. At 00387. Down. We're down. Oh, wow. Whoa, weird. Wow. You guys, you notice that? Look at that. We're down 8.9% on the day. We closed the day here and opened it all the way down here. That's wild, y'all. That's wild. That was some volatility there. Wow. Then we pumped going into that news, and now we're back here. But again, if anybody's looking at this thinking, buy the hype, sell the news, well, we did buy the hype, and we did sell the news. That was it. You don't need to do this. Buy the hype, sell the news. Now that the news is out, if you're expecting a sell the news event to happen, we didn't get a buy the hype event to happen. I doubt we're going to get a sell the news event to happen, right? This is the sell the news event. We're down 9% on the day. There you go. It happened. And we're back where we've been. It is completely possible that OnyxCoin from here is in some type of double bottom formation where we do recover and we see higher prices, and I am suspecting that that will happen in this month of July, that we will go back above 0.05, potentially even above 0.06. The real heavily anticipated thing that we're waiting for is getting above this high here. Can we get above this high? Can we go higher than this high and get a higher high? If we can, if we do, then likely what's going to happen is lower highs, lower lows. We break that trend. We're in a new phase here, and what better time to do this than with the rebranding of Goliath to Onyx, than with the announcement of Onyx Mesh. Hold on. All these things, all these good things, and again, if we are seeing implementation without the recognition of it, if we're not getting the announcement of this implementation of Onyx Mesh from institutions or banks or anything like that, we don't need the news. Show me the charts and I'll tell you the news. We start seeing stuff like this, guys. They are onboarding businesses. That is what's happening. There's no way that this mesh comes out. They're talking about it. Goliath, well, Onyx, the layer 1 was released all in this time frame here. All these developments are happening, and we start to grow. Even if there's no announcement of institutional involvement, we would know at that point. And the first sign of that would be to get above this high. It's the first sign of breaking out of this downtrend. It's the first sign of plenty of more good things to come. So until then, keep staking, keep stacking. I got nothing else for you. This video went on way longer than I meant for it to, but hit that like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here. I'll see you on the next one. Take care of yourselves, and bye-bye.